Graeme, do you want to give us an injury update to start with? Russell Martin, Jamie Murty.
Russell felt a disruption in his back and we've deloaded him. We're going to see how he goes with a bit of treatment. Jamie the same. We'll give them both the maximum time possible to see how comfortable they're feeling and make our selection from there.
Jamie in full contact training.
Mm-hmm.
What was the prognosis of his results?
He's got a bang on his foot. He caught a sore one on his foot, part and parcel of the game. But we're going to give him obviously enough time to really recover as well as he possibly can and make our decision as late as possible to give all the guys enough time to feel really fresh for a big game.
Is there a real sense of confidence ahead of this game?
I think so. I think you look at the way the guys play, the way they're performing at the moment, the chances that they're making. They're enjoying being in each other's company and they're enjoying getting some success, which is always the way with footballers. When things are successful, it's a brilliant place to work. This is going to be a really good test of the cohesion and the team spirit and making sure we take our positivity from the last few games into this one.
You've also got some lads who experience this for the first time, some who have experienced it a number of times. Do you get that feeling amongst them as well, that there's a different sense to this game?
People come north of the border to this club to play in big games. I'm not sure that there is a bigger game for us to play in currently. So this game is got added significance because of that. But anyone who comes to this football club has to understand the history and the passion behind it and make sure they deal with that first and foremost so they can go and concentrate on being as good as they have been in the previous weeks.
You like to play an expansive game. How much will your team selection be based on containing Celtic or playing to your strengths?
We have to respect what Celtic are about. We understand the threats that they bring. They didn't win the league last year for no reason. They have people in skilled positions and all over the pitch that are proven at this level. And whilst we respect them and we understand what they'll try and do, we have to also maximise our attacking threat and make sure that we go into the game at home and try to take the game to them. That's what we've done really successfully in the last few weeks. And we want to enhance that and really see if we are where we want to be, because we're really pleased with the strides that we've made, and this, as I've said, is going to be a big test of the team that we want to be.
You got a draw there at the turn of the year, before the turn of the year, given the additions to the squad and the specific type of additions you have made. How much more competitive do you think you are for this type of fixture?
I don't think we're going to find out, but I think we're stronger than we were. I think people would acknowledge that. We're a different kind of team than we were, and I would say that our people in form at the moment are capable of causing anyone a problem. This is the biggest test that we currently have in front of us, and we have got a group of players that are really positive, really hungry and desperate to do well, which is a good thing for a manager going into a big game like this.
How much dig do you think you've got now in midfield that perhaps you didn't have before, and how important is that going to be to stop someone like Scott Brown, who perhaps has dominated these fixtures of late?
You're going to have to rephrase that one. How much what?
Dig.
Dig.
Bit of bite in midfield.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've got competitive people all over the pitch. We won't be concentrating on Scott or any other person individually, exclusively to the others, because if you concentrate too much on one aspect or one person in their play, you forget about the other threats that they pose. But we will have competitive people all over the football pitch, capable, hopefully, of standing toe-to-toe with their opponents and hopefully coming out on top to give us a good chance of getting the result and making sure that we are a team that comes out with a positive result.
Mikael Lustig is obviously suspended for Celtic. Does that make more of a guessing game for you in terms of how Celtic are going to go? Are they going to go 3 at the back, 4 at the back, wing backs?
We have to be ready for whatever they bring to the challenge. We know they're comfortable in a number of formations with different kinds of players that they're going to bring in. If they play Sinclair, if they play Edouard, if they play Ayer on the right hand side, we have to be aware of that. We've shown the players some footage, but we have to make sure also, whilst we're understanding of the threats that they bring, we still need to impose our game upon them. So whilst we understand their threats and understand their style, I would like us also to be confident enough and expressive enough to go and take the game to them at what we're good at. And if we do that, then we put ourselves in a good place.
What will your final team talk be in terms of, not the content of it, but will you have to calm them down or will you have to G them up?
Well, I'll tell you that after I've done it. We won't know until you get the mood in the group, and that's part of the skill of coaches or managers. You're looking at the group and seeing what they need on any given time. There are times when you have to give them a kick up the backside. There's a time when you have to reassure them. There's a time when you have to calm them down. We'll just make sure the guys get what they need. So as I've said, they can walk out into a fantastic atmosphere at our home stadium and really go on and put on a good show, because we need to make sure that we reinforce the steps that we've made.
How far would a win go to making some serious title challenge with X games to go?
Well, it's about this club moving up the league and making sure that we're challenging at the top end. If we go and take the 3 points, it'll be another step, making sure we're improving and getting closer to where we want to be. As to the Championship, you will finish where you deserve to finish. The 3 points are on offer for us, as they are for Celtic, and if we get them, then we put ourselves in a fantastic place to go and finish the season off really strongly. But it's this one game, it's a standalone game, it's a big game because of the history behind it and the passion behind it. The 3 points are still the same as they are in any other game, and I know that's really boring to say to you guys, but we'll be focusing on the performance and giving ourselves a chance of taking the points.
But would a win not only put pressure on Celtic, but put serious pressure on them?
It may do. You'll have to see how we react. We need to make sure we take care of our business first and see what happens from there. But we know walking into the stadium at Ibrox, teams are under pressure, ourselves included. Handling that pressure is something we've done historically really well at this football club. But whilst we walk out onto the football pitch ready to accept it, what we can do on the football pitch will then determine what's going to happen after that. So we can't look too far forward. We just have to make sure that we take care of our business and get a good performance and hopefully get a positive result.
Would you say, with what's at stake, this is the biggest game of your managerial career?
I would say it's the game that people are talking about most. I think it's the game that has generated the most interest across border, because the first time I did a Celtic Rangers game, people were talking about record scorelines. The second time we did one, they were talking about the managerial situation. This is the first time we've gone into the game and people are talking about the game, which is a real positive for me in how far we've come as a football club, how far we've come as a squad, and it'll be a really good marker along our journey into the place that we want to be and the team that we want to be.
And with those two previous Old Firm games being at Celtic Park that you took charge of, how different do you feel this one is going into it at Ibrox?
I'm desperate to experience the atmosphere. Obviously, I've been there to their ground, and I enjoyed the atmosphere. But this is ours, and this will be special. To be a manager of Rangers Football Club and an Old Firm game at home will be possibly the biggest moment of my career so far, and something I'm really looking forward to. I will reiterate though, I will really enjoy those things when you do your job properly. You put yourself in a good situation to go and get a positive result, and we're trying everything that we can to make sure we have the best chance of that.
Are you confident that the players that you brought in January have that passion for these big games?
I'm confident the players who we brought in and the players who are already here understand the scale of the game, and as I said before, as to why people come to this football club. They come to this football club to play in big games, and as I've said, I don't think they come much bigger than this one.
You mentioned the atmosphere when you that first game at Celtic Park that you had. Did it take a wee while to, even as a manager on the sidelines, to get used to it all? Is that something you're going to have to warn the players that are maybe making their first game against Celtic?
I don't think that's down to me. I think it's down to the people in the changing room who've experienced it and who've seen it. We've got Bruno Alves in the changing room who's played in some of the biggest games in world football, so we have to understand we have people capable of seeing what that's like and helping people through it. But we have to be consistent in our message to one another that we're together and we're cohesive. No matter what the challenge is thrown against us, we've been really strong together as a group so far since Christmas. We need to make sure we continue that sense of cohesion and supportiveness all the way throughout the game and towards the end of the season also.
Just finally for me, obviously a lot's been made of the comments about your players cheering the draw on Sunday, but what have you made of that response? Do you think it's a good thing that the players are relishing a game rather than maybe some people thought it was maybe overconfidence?
No, I don't think it's overconfidence. I think it's guys in a positive moment. It's guys enjoying each other's company. It's enjoying playing with one another. And as I've just said, you come to this football club to play in big games. It's another opportunity to play in a massive game. And I think that's all that was. It was just an occasion where guys have just won a football match. They're feeling on a high, and there's another big game being drawn out of the hat, and they're enjoying the moment. So I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think it's overconfidence. I think it's our guys relishing the opportunity once again to play in a massive game for this club.
Graeme, you've said previously, and no doubt you'll say again, that it's not about you, it's about the players, it's about the team. But you'll know yourself, if you were to get a win on Sunday, it would have a significant impact on your chances of getting this job long term. Would you agree with that?
I want to see where we finish up. I want to see the progression we can make until the end of the season. I don't think my chances or anyone else's chances will be defined by one game. I don't think I'm selfish enough to look at my own future ahead of the football club or ahead of the players. We have to concentrate on making sure we push forward as a football club and make sure we get closer. We're in a good moment. We're moving in the right direction, and I will reiterate, it's about all of us being successful together. And my success or lack of it will come from what we do between now and the end of the season, not just on Sunday. We have to make sure we accelerate into the end of the season, and if we do that, we all have a really, really good chance of being successful together.
And just finally for me, you touched upon it earlier. You said, previous games are talking about how many it was going to be.
Yeah.
You're talking about they are getting closer to Celtic. How close do you think you are to them matching them?
We're closer than we were. We're a different team than we were, but this is the test, and this is one that we're glad is coming now. We're in a good place at the moment, and this is where we establish how far we've come and how far yet we still have to go. We still know there's distance to go to where we want to actually be, but it's a good test along our journey, and I think there's more games like that to come, and it's a measure of the squad that they're really in a good place and looking forward to the game. That pleases me immensely as a manager.
Just no one else in and out at all, other than Russell, Jamie, you've mentioned?
People are getting minutes. We had a behind closed doors game, so there are people coming back to fitness. There are people who are closer, but as I said, team selection will wait until we're closer to the kickoff.
Is Declan John available for selection? Is Lee Wallace available for selection?
We're waiting for both of those guys to see, but as I said, team selection and squad list will come out a little bit later on.